So a gentleman who wrote later in his life, I believe in the 1840s, wrote down, he transcribed the Washington prayer as he had observed it. He said, to quote, "I went home and told my wife, I saw a sight and heard today what I never saw or heard before, and just related to her what I had seen and heard and observed. We never thought a man could be a soldier and a Christian, but if there is one in the world, it is Washington." She also was astonished. We thought it was the cause of God, and America could prevail. He then to me put out his right hand and said, I turned right about and became a Whig. So we have that anecdote about Washington's prayer, which has both been described by historians as a true event or an apocryphal event. We'll never know for sure, but it's become something of a legend in American history and speaks to the personal beliefs of the man and his motivations. And this man who became our first president, who, when he relinquished the presidency after his second term, King George III, who had been the monarch of Great Britain during the Revolution, described as, and I'm paraphrasing, one of the greatest men in the world, that he could turn away a kingdom because George saw that America could have been Washington's in a moment had he desired to become a king, but because he forewent that opportunity and returned to private life, George was able to perceive the greatness of the man. If we fast forward to Lincoln, our 16th president, and referencing his second inaugural address, he finished his address with these words, quote, "With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us to strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations." So in that final paragraph, we have an explicit reference to God. Now, historians have debated for decades Lincoln's particular religious beliefs. Some have called him a theist or a deist in the spirit of Thomas Jefferson. Others have tried to claim him for a particular denomination. I don't think that he really ever had one, particularly given his upbringing, which was a very humble upbringing in rural Kentucky. But the man obviously possessed, to anyone who knows anything about him, a detailed knowledge of the scriptures. I've always believed an incredible insight regarding God and the will of God and the purpose of God in the lives of men and in the life of America.